Awesome. Sweet. What's up, guys? I'm Will with Basic Gear Review.
And I'm Andy with Reverb.
And today we're going to be talking about the plasma pedal and a little bit about how we do what we do, you know, the comparing and contrasting how our channels work. So, how you doing today, Andy?
Good. How are you, man?
Good, man. It's nice meeting you.
Yeah,
nice
you too. I think you're right on about kind of, we have similar styles, but we're in two different worlds.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what's cool about you, though, is that when you do yours, you do bass and guitar, which is awesome. So for certain pedals, you can do both, which is pretty cool because you kind of spread the...
I love bass. I mean, I think I've been just, you know, I'm going to say tinkering with bass as long as I've been playing guitar, because it's all started with having to lay bass lines down on a 4-track. And that was, I think, a really good experience for any guitar player, because I know with a lot of guitar players, they kind of play bass like they play guitar.
Oh yeah.
But I always, you know, luckily I kind of got, I don't know where I got that tip, but it was just like you do have to think differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
And listen to the drummer. I think that was probably, I was reading some guitar, you know, player interview about how Bonham was just like the perfect drummer for bass players. And I was like, well, what does that mean, you know? And I started listening to them. Some of those older recordings, you could just fade the, you know, left and right balancing, almost like mix out the guitar. And so I really got into that and what it meant to lock in with the groove. And I think that is helpful for guitar players. Whether it's coming up with bass lines or just learning how to play with a band. You know. Yeah,
it's very important. It's the backbone of everything that's happening, and it's something that you don't really realize as a guitarist. I remember when I started, I played guitar. I didn't play bass.
Oh, okay.
And so as I went on and started to appreciate bass and started to learn it more, I realized, like, wow, this is really, like, this is what's holding it all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, this is the bed for the guitar to lay on and do its thing. So yeah, it's really cool. I think something about the bass and laying back and just being in the groove for me it just spoke to me more than lead, because I've never been one to be out there and do leads and like everybody look at me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of really like just being back there holding it down, you know, and then the people that know can appreciate it, like, hey man, you're doing a great job back there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just, something about bass spoke to me a little more than guitar. So and then with the channel, we were lucky enough to find our niche, you know what I mean? Because on YouTube, there are plenty of demos, like pedal demos and bass demos and things like that for bass guitar, but the video quality isn't necessarily like optimal or things like that, such as yours, you know what I mean?
Okay,
so we kind of found our niche there, kind of having that good quality, and people were like, oh, you guys are some of the greatest ones on there.
I think, and you do a good job of it.
Thank you so much, really appreciate that.
I think, yeah, you definitely filled that spot. There was a void there.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, I tried to do my best with some, you know, I get really excited when I get to use a bass in a video. I think it was the Clovenhoof from Earthquaker.
Oh yeah,
I just got this vintage Ibanez musician bass, you know, like kind of like Sting was using in the early '80s, and it's a long scale. You know, I kind of like shorter scale bass, like even just a Ricky with its 33.
Yeah.
That seems to be perfect for guitar players, I think. But yeah, I loved playing that pedal with bass. I mean, I think it had bass in mind. That was the whole point with that design of the pedal. But yeah, I opened up with a bass line, which is like rarely happens. It was a thrill. But.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember watching, I don't remember what pedal it was. It was one of the synth pedals, maybe like the C9 or the B9, one of those. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but you were doing Subdivisions by Rush, and you had all the pieces. Yeah. You had the little intro, dun, 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 and it had this, I was like, that was so cool. That was awesome. I love how you can apply it so perfectly.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to hit as wide of an audience as I can, you know.
Speaking of that, how do you approach certain pedals? Like, say you have a delay or something of the like. Do you approach that differently playing wise than you would?
Absolutely.
Else?
I think sparse is key with delay, because it always kind of, it's like when I hear players that just play the same way they'd play with an overdrive as they do with a delay, they kind of, I don't know, I think it kind of does not to you know, get on anyone, but you know, it's like I like to play to the pedal. So if you're playing kind of like quick leads and stuff, and you're not really concerned about the tone of the repeats because you're playing over them, so like sparse, you know, and melodic stuff, just ease back. I think that the delay is the star of the show, not my you know, playing abilities.
Yeah, that's how we look at it too. You kind of have to play the pedal instead of playing the instrument. You know what I mean? You got to hear what it is, and over time, you kind of do that subconsciously. Once you get used to it, you know, you know what you want to play for certain things. So that's kind of how it is for us too.
Absolutely.
That's very cool.
Yeah, you wouldn't play a fast run on a really long decay reverb. It's just going to get lost.
Exactly. It's just going to disappear. So yeah, that's definitely an important aspect of that. It's something people don't really realize as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I've got a lot of people telling me out here, like I've been doing pedal demos back behind the stage over there, and they're telling me, oh man, like you're playing the pedal perfectly. I'm like,
yeah.
I've gotten used to it over the years. You know, I've been doing it multiple times a week for a long time. So
like anything, it's experience.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you're doing. You're taking. I wanted to ask you that. Do you find that there's any limitations to taking any guitar, guitar pedal and using it for bass? I mean, I always thought that it had to, in the early days growing up, you had the bass overdrive and then you have the overdrive. But really, the more I started learning about circuits and talking to people like Robert Keeley, and it's great on bass. I mean, they're not limiting the bandwidth, are they? Do you ever find that there's a pedal that really just limits your low end? Or?
Well, there's a few for sure. Most fuzzes, unless you have like an active EQ in it, most fuzzes will take away some of that low end. And then there's a few overdrives, like some of the like the DS1. That'll cut a little bit. It sounds awesome, but it cuts a little bit.
You got to turn the tone down to keep the bass, because it's a bass cut if you roll
So
that.
what we started doing actually not too long ago, no, maybe about a year ago, we started getting the Boss LS2, the line selector, and running parallel signals. So we'll run one of them clean and one of them through the pedal. So it effectively adds a blend knob to every pedal, which is really cool. And then we also did an Orange Dark Terror, which is a guitar amp. And that one kind of you had to really, really max out the bass to get enough. But what we did to combat that was we put an MXR 10-band EQ in the effects loop.
Oh,
and then boosted those lows. So then you can just manipulate the amp however you want to, and it sounded awesome. And people are really appreciating that. So there are plenty of things that do hinder you as a bassist, but there's also plenty of ways to get around it. So we kind of try to teach that to people just in case.
That's a good approach, that parallel. I mean, that's, if you go in any studio, they're going to do that anyway.
Exactly.
You're going to probably go direct. Some kind of DI, or live. You go to DI, and then they, they'll maybe mic your amp if you're lucky, right?
Exactly, which they never do anymore. I love the sound of speakers, and I never get mic'd up anymore. But
I mean, what a shame. You finally save up, and you get that SVT you've always wanted.
Exactly.
You're like, I'm going to sound like Geddy Lee, and it's just like this direct, no character.
Oh, man. It's just so dry and cold, but. It's okay. I mean, sometimes you can have DI pedals, or your amp will have a DI, and you can do post EQ, which definitely cleans that up, so it's not just a barren signal. You know what I mean?
Exposing everything you do.
I mean, you could also kind of fool yourself if you have your 810 behind you on stage. You could just stand there and be like, okay, well, I'm hearing it. So then if I just don't think about what's out of the PA, you know what I mean?
That's important.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you're happy, that's going to come through in the performance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you playing with any groups or anything like that aside from your video work?
I haven't in a while, and I always say that this seat's really squeaky. Sorry. The sort of itch to play is sort of taken care of every day with these videos that I'm doing, because there's a guitar in my hand every day of the week, and by the time the weekend rolls around, I couldn't imagine trying to play a gig on a Saturday night somewhere. I'm just like,
I've been doing it all week.
I kind of want to just take a walk.
And,
or go drive to the coast. Luckily I'm in Portland, Oregon, and luckily it's a pretty easy drive.
Yeah,
but I try to get out, and working from home, you realize that you got to be disciplined and just taking breaks and enjoying your environment, not just getting stuck in a room recording, which is great to do most of the week, but. Yeah, I'm learning there's a balance.
I'm learning that here, especially because I've never been to Europe before. It's absolutely beautiful out here.
It is.
And so being in the building doing this is so much fun, but then you go outside and you're like, oh man, I kind of want to take a day to just look at all this stuff. So that's a good point.
Just a good lesson in life for anyone.
Exactly, stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, of course. Enough said,
So how long have you been doing pedal demos and things of that nature?
It's I've been saying 10 years.
10 years?
2008. It all started with the Pro Guitar Shop stuff, and before then I was working at Full Tone for a couple years, almost a couple years. Just doing a pedal assembly, and that really got me. I was always into gear, from early on, but that really helped me figure out, what makes pedals tick.
Exactly.
And that got me hooked, especially because I never played an original, Fuzz Face or Octavia or Vibe, and Full Tone had all those in his versions, so. That's really where I got into that, and then luckily a year later, that was my first gig up in Portland. I got that job at Pro Guitar Shop, and soon after the videos just started happening. So
okay, that's very cool. So they didn't do anything like that before you?
No, it was totally the owner, Aaron Miller. He was it was his vision, and I just kind of took it and ran with it. He didn't really want to get in my way. He knew I had the background to do it. So.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
The film background, that is.
Yeah.
And then the pedal you know, so it was like a perfect marriage of my love for music and editing and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. It's really cool to have that opportunity, and it's so different. It's something that never would have been able to happen, say, like 80s or 90s, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's much more sparse and things of that nature. So
yeah,
we're living in a really cool time to be able to do this and be able to interact and
so
come to
lucky.
events like this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's really cool.
I try to think what I would be doing if there wasn't a YouTube, or you know, like I'm sure there were people that had the same skill set, but yeah, you're right. 10 years earlier, you know, they're doing something else.
There's
you know,
no
just
way.
because you couldn't apply it to anything.
You're stuck in a coffee shop or something.
Yeah.
Like, man, what can I do that's not this?
Well,
So, yeah,
hopefully they
definitely
would have
lucky.
kept in music, you know, somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it's your passion,
Yeah,
you know,
you're going to find a way to do
Exactly,
something.
exactly.
Um,
So moving forward, have
Yeah.
you played with this plasma pedal yet?
Yeah, the Gamechanger guys, I met them at NAMM. This was my first NAMM in 2018,
Okay.
and they came up to me and they were wearing these black suits. And you probably, I don't know if you were there, but or saw videos. I had no idea what they were doing. I thought they were trying to sell me something, but and they opened up their case and they had it's a great, if you probably, you know, you look up any clips on YouTube, and the way they were presenting the plasma was like this secret weapon. And there's just like there's like just a crazy amount of voltage. I'll get it wrong, so I'm not going to say, but it, you know, I don't think it's enough to kill you if you play it. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's good. It's just at the threshold.
Yeah, and it's pretty hair raising. And yeah, so I brought this in because you know, maybe we could both plug through it and show what our approach would be, or just to see how it reacts with bass and guitar.
Absolutely.
It's something that we just have to test the limits of it, and so maybe we'll just do a quick cut and
we'll
get into that.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, so I'll do the clean signal just so you guys can have a frame of reference. So. And then with the pedal engaged. See, so what's really nice about this is that it has the clean blend.
Yeah,
which is,
I always forget that on this pedal. That's probably a dream come true
so
for
it's
bass
got,
players.
Exactly. So it's got the active EQ like I was talking about earlier and the clean blend.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. You know, you don't need anything else. And then it's cool. It's got that switch on the back, which allows you to either EQ your clean and fuzz signal or dirty signal, or just the dirty signal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So your clean could stay completely unaffected.
Okay,
when you're
so
using the active EQ.
would you? Maybe you want to try something like just EQing the high end of the fuzz.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So you get
Let me see where we are with this. It's on clean EQ on. So there we go. So now when I adjust the EQ, it'll only adjust the dirty signal and keep the clean completely normal. So let's engage that, and we'll cut some of the lows there, and boost some of the highs. Keep the blend about 12 o'clock. Bring up the voltage a bit too. Oh man, that's got some noise to it right there.
I think
Yeah,
we're
that
in the right
voltage knob
we're
is
in the right
crazy.
position where we're getting maximum noise.
Yeah,
here.
exactly. The perfect amount of feedback. So yeah, that switch on the back is very cool, and then you can obviously have it off where you can adjust the EQ of your entire signal, both clean and dirty. So that's awesome. And then it's got the voltage knob in the middle, which is something you see a lot on certain fuzz pedals, which is awesome. So you can get anywhere from, if you up your voltage, it sounds a bit more like an overdrive or a distortion.
Yeah, it's not gate. Well, the gate effect
yeah,
is kind
exactly.
of what comes with that.
And then you get it's a little bit more sparse of a gain structure, and then like you said, it gates it when you pull the voltage back, which is absolutely awesome.
That would be nice for bass too, I would imagine. You know.
Oh yeah.
Especially if
yeah.
we were getting sort of a noisy signal, and you could kind of just have everything clamped down.
And especially if you have an active instrument, because everything's that much more noisy.
That's
so
right.
if you get that gate in there, so let's try some of that out maybe. Let's see. EQ that a little differently. Okay, so here's the voltage down from where it was before. Kind of adjust, pull it back even more. more voltage, or the less voltage it has rather, the more you have to dig into the strings and really give it some heat. So. Yeah, that's awesome. And on top of the fact that it sounds great, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but when you play, it has actual like plasma lightning bolt looking thing in there. And the guy from Gamechanger was telling me that's not a gimmick, you know, it's not just something cool. That's actually the sound being processed.
Right.
And he said it's the same kind of technology as like a bug zapper.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. That's where they got their inspiration. He said that after the first name they went to, they were celebrating the plus pedal, the sustain.
Yeah,
And he said they were sitting out on the porch celebrating, and the bugs were coming up to the zapper and getting zapped, and they were like, I wonder if we can harness that and use that in a different way.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was awesome. Like, that's such a cool way to look at it. So, Gamechanger, you know, that's a great name for a company who's going to do something like that.
They definitely are changing the game.
They're great. So, do you want to check it out? We'll run it through guitar.
Let's see how this can be used for guitar. All right, plasma pedal with guitar.
Here we go.
Here's my clean tone. There's the clean in the mix.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Same thing. And the guys at Gamechanger were saying because of the voltage, or at least for guitar, I don't know if it would work the same for bass, because how often are you kind of backing off the volume to get clean up? You know, that's
that
sort
kind
of a
thing
different.
that doesn't happen as much for bass for sure, because it's kind of more of a constant tone, you know.
Yeah.
So that's understandable though, rolling off the guitar, and the volume on the guitar probably changes that structure.
Yeah. So exactly, he said for guitar at least, crank up the voltage and then just do all that control on your guitar. So and then
smart.
I'm going to take off the clean blend, so you're really just hearing this. And let's get a little beefier here. Okay, so here it's full voltage. Do something a little more evil here.
Yeah, you really hear it clamp down. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really
so
cool.
you don't even have to touch the pedal, and that was a cool trick.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And what's cool about having the clean blend with guitar is that you can really, there's a lot of articulation still.
Yeah.
So if you want that big dirty sound but want to do some big clean picking chords,
absolutely.
you can hear everything you were doing. Like you were doing it in the beginning, and I noticed you really hear everything, which is awesome.
Yeah, just like a sus, you know, just kind of like. That never happens with like a fuzz face.
Absolutely, that's gorgeous, because everything just turns into one signal. When
exactly.
So that's really nice. Oh, that's wonderful. That's so cool. And he said it runs through a xenon light or something of the sort. It says here xenon filling. So that's what gives it that tone. And it says high voltage distortion unit, but I can't help but like feel like it's more of a fuzz. You know what I mean? Because of just the way it reacts and the way it sounds.
That's a good point. I mean, I think you probably realize this too with pedals that are like the Big Muff. They never really say fuzz. They never really say distortion. I think they first marketed it as a sustainer. In the 70s.
Exactly.
So there's always some crossover between what exactly is fuzz and what's distortion. So I think distortion just kind of encapsulates everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, that was one of the things I kind of learned early on when I'm playing some of these boutique fuzzes, and I was like, oh, okay, I can get overdrive out of this thing, you know? But it is really all distortion.
Yeah, it's a generalized, because you're just distorting the tone, whether it be with a fuzz circuit or an overdrive circuit, pushing it like a tube screamer, you know?
Yeah.
It's all technically distorting it, so that's a good point. So yeah, be sure to check out the Plasma Pedal by Gamechanger Audio out of Latvia, I believe they're from. Yeah. It's incredible. They have this one, and they have one called the Plus, which is a sustainer, which is also absolutely incredible. I was playing with that yesterday, and you're definitely gonna have to check out some of their stuff. So.
Yeah, and that's something I've seen used on every instrument. You know, because I did something for reverb, and then I was watching all the related videos, and it's like, you know, I think it was like, I don't know, cello or something. It was running through, or you know, just anything.
Oh yeah, it's a gorgeous pedal too.
Yeah.
It's so organic sounding. And
Yeah.
yeah. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled for these things as well. So, so we're gonna jam. Take it. So my name is Will from Basic Gear Review.
Andy from Reverb.
And thank you guys for watching.
Thanks.
Thank you.